There we go. We're back. Um, I really wanted to ask you something because these walks are growing and Flora's name is everywhere and we walk to honor her and her story and share. Um, what do you want people to remember most about Flora?
Oh, that's a good question. Um, I think Flora was such a giving person. Like, she would oftentimes just put herself last and make sure that everybody else was okay. Um, and she would do it, you know, to 110%. Um, because 100% was never good enough for her. It was 110%. Um, and I think that it is such a, it's a quality that I hope I possess a little bit as well. I think it is such a, you know, such a good quality. And I feel like she she really was just wanting people to be happy and, you know, um, yeah, she was just very motivated by making other people happy. And I think that that's a good takeaway
Yeah,
about
yeah.
her. So, yeah.
It sounded like she had a gift for including people and caring for people and standing up for people. Uh, it's so beautiful. And I love that you see that in you. And I love
I
that you
hope I
see that.
have it a little bit. I don't want to
Yeah.
I love making other people happy and I definitely, Flora being 9 years older and kind of I guess watching that my whole life and
Hmm.
um I just always felt like, it was something to attain to. Um
Hmm.
like even when she was young and in high school or even before high school, if there was somebody in the class who was like being bullied or, like not the cool person, she would always like set herself aside, befriend them, make sure they were okay, do everything extra for them because she knew that they were like the outcast. Even though
Yes.
Flora was cool, because she was like,
Yeah.
tall and pretty and all that stuff. She would make sure that she went out of her way to make sure that like the person being outcast or the not cool one or whatever it is, bullied, that they were okay. And that's like, yeah, that's a really good description of
I
kind
love
of
that. I
yeah.
love that. And thank you for sharing so much about her with all of us. I know it's not easy to share. And I know it could not have been easy to share this with Patricia when you initially did 4.5 years ago. Um, I hope we've made Flora and your family very proud with how much we've advocated and tried to push forward change. So I know personally, when I speak about your sister, I always say I didn't know her. Sorry, excuse me. I always say I didn't know her, but when I read her story, I I felt like I knew her in a way. And I think sharing her story is so important because the feedback that we get is so many mothers and families are saying that I I'm I'm able to speak out and I know that there's help and I know that someone cares and I know that someone's trying to ensure that none of us are forgotten or left behind. And there are people working to put systems in place. So we do see mothers, even if they don't necessarily we don't want anyone to be forgotten. I don't think our systems are perfect, but we're getting there. We're really working on making sure
Yeah.
that, you know,
I'm s-
so
I'm so glad that you say that. And I think, after all this, this was, mind you, Flora's end was the beginning of my motherhood journey. Being a first-time mom, and I had three very serious complications when I was pregnant. So I was literally in the hospital all the time. So that was very stressful. Then this happened, and then we adopted Amber, and then I
and then
gave
I
birth
gave birth
a few
a
months
few months
later.
later.
Um, and that, needless to say, shaped, you know, even till now, what my
What my
motherhood
mother
journey has been like. And Flora was isolated because of COVID, didn't have a partner. Um, so I can imagine how lonely and stuff she felt. But even with me having my husband,
mm,
having my mom nearby, um, yes, technically I gave birth sort of during COVID at the end of it, but um,
but
restrictions
still,
were starting to ease up.
yes.
Um, I wasn't near any friends, but I wasn't like I was still accessible. And even with that, I was so isolated and so alone and struggling so much. Yes, my situation was different because I
Because I
suddenly had
suddenly
two
mm,
that were 6 months apart. Um, my husband was working 7 days a week, so he would work Saturdays and Sundays, because I obviously didn't have an income because I was on maternity and I had to take extended maternity to take care of Amber. Um, so he was working 7 days a week, so I was very alone. And I'm really glad that there is discussion now
mm,
about supporting mothers. I
mm,
think we've gone backwards a little bit because, from my perspective, like humans have always evolved in tribes. We've always
yes,
had tribes before trains and planes and cars and all that. We were always close, even if you were, didn't really like your cousin that much, you'd probably be close to them and they could look after your baby. You know what I
yes.
mean? Like
The
we always,
community.
yeah, the community. And
Yeah.
we've lost that now. Um, and when you become a mother, you have all of these hormones,
So
um,
many. So
met with, you know, because I think like I was very naive before all this, and I just thought, oh, you have a baby, you take your stroller, and you have a coffee with a girlfriend, like
yeah, just normal stuff.
like I didn't know that I would be insanely sleep deprived to the extent that soldiers were. Um, Taking care
Yeah.
of two babies, on no sleep. Like you're not allowed to drive, I think, if you have 2 hours of sleep because it's the equivalent of being drunk.
Yeah.
So how are you
It's
taking care of humans when you're that sleep deprived? But again,
yes.
we humans have evolved with support and help and aunties and cousins and siblings and moms and grandparents that were, within arm's reach. And it's like, I know there's the saying, you need a village. It takes a village, but you really, really do
Really do.
need a village.
Really
So
do.
I'm
No,
so
you're so
glad
right.
that there's a talk about it now because mothers are now thinking that there's something wrong with them
Yes.
because, and it has nothing to do with them.
No,
Humans have never, ever, ever done it alone, ever.
no,
And now we're trying to do something that is not doable.
no,
Um, and everybody's got different, situations. Some might live far away from family, or some people might live close to family, but actually have a really bad relationship with them. So like everything, it's very complicated. But the point is like, you know, it's not, mothers feel so guilty, and it's not anything to do with the
no.
mother's capability.
Yes.
So I'm so glad that there's this discussion now, and me, and on behalf of my family, like we're so glad that this is all in Flora's name and like you guys are just doing such amazing work, like truly, truly amazing work. And yeah, I know that if Flora was here, saying she would be proud is just, I mean, yeah, she would just be beyond proud of what's happening and all of you guys and um
I'm
yeah,
so
so
glad. I'm so glad. But you
yeah.
nailed it because motherhood, I find these days looks a little different. We are more isolated. We are kind of in our own little bubbles, and there are a lot of expectations of us and in terms of work and be a mom, and we're supposed to be these on all the time. And we're needed by everybody all at once. And it's we really the community piece, I think, is what has really held moms together for generations. And I think that's the my favorite part about Flora's Walk is when everybody shows up and you can see it. You can see people looking around and being like, "Oh, I was at home and I thought this was just it was me." And then I show up and it's like, "Wow, look at all these resources and people that care." And I can't tell you the incredible impact her story has made in such a positive way for so many people. So, in her name, communities are coming back to life. And I'm glad that she would have been really happy to see this.
Yeah. Oh, thank you, Candace. That's so
Thank
nice.
you. Thank you so much. I'm so glad I finally got to connect with you. I'm so grateful for everything that you do and continue to do. I know I see you pop in on our Flora's Walk page and you keep everybody up to date, even though you're so busy. I don't know how you do it all. Thank you. And I hope that we get to connect again soon because I really enjoyed this. And thank you so much for all you shared today. Thank you.
Thank you, Candace.
You're amazing, Mimi, and I can't wait to talk to you soon.
Hopefully I will yeah, hopefully I'll be more involved next year. I might even go to Canada. Um, so hopefully, yeah, we'll see, but yeah.
We'll see. Oh my gosh. Thank you, Mimi.
Thank you, Candace.